With co-living, I'm buying 3 to 5 bedroom homes and converting them to 8 to 14 bedroom homes.
Okay.
The biggest project we did, we turned a 5 bedroom home into a 14 bedroom for a client of ours. That was a 5,000 square foot house, had plenty of space. We took a dining room, an office, a sitting room, and we turned them into bedrooms. We split 2 masters that were upstairs in half because they were very large, to get to that. And we turned, I think it was a game room area into a bedroom.
Welcome to the Texas Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview Texas real estate professionals from active real estate investors, lenders, property managers, and many others that provide goods and services into the real estate investing industry in the great state of Texas. Our goal is simple: to share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level, and to meet the pros that can help you get there. Texas Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and entrepreneurs build the business they need to live the life that they've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
All right. Hey, guys. Welcome back to our show. I'm your host, John Harcar, and I'm here today with Dave Edwards. And with Dave, what we're going to talk about, we're going to touch on his journey in real estate, what really brought him up to today, but a very interesting topic that I've been seeing a lot more of. I know at some of our meetings, there's been a lot of talk, and that's co-living. What it is, why it's great. We'll dig into all that. Dave, welcome to our show.
Thanks for having me, John.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about that. Like I mentioned, there's been a lot of talk within our group about that, about co-living and why it's beneficial, maybe some of the regulations coming down the pipe. But before we get in the weeds with all that stuff, introduce yourself, man. Tell our audience a little bit about you, what got you into real estate and what brought you to today.
Yeah. So, reason why I got into real estate was, like everybody else, several years ago, just before COVID, I was feeling iffy on the day job. So I started looking around, started watching Bigger Pockets, listening to Bigger Pockets for about 2, 3 years before we finally moved to Houston and pulled the trigger on our first rental property after we bought ours. That first one, single family home, went very bad. I've told the story a couple different places. Um, but essentially my house was turned into a strip club slash pit bull breeding center slash meth dispensary.
Wow.
So that was fantastic, right?
Oh, I bet some great stories
That
there.
was a great story. It's a great story. But by the time I got the property back and all the $40,000 worth of damage had been done to the property, the woman had, for an example, spray painted her daughter's door pink, with the AC register right above that door. So it
Wow.
sucked in and it was on. So it sucked in all of the spray paint, and you walked around the house and it was just lightly tinged with pink everywhere. So
Incredible.
it was ridiculous. And it didn't want to come off. So that was fun. From there, I said, hey, all right, I got out of this. I made some money on a flip. I had a little bit of cash from that property. I looked around, I found out, cared about co-living. And I got into co-living because I find it to be less risky than single family rentals. A lot of people think,
Okay.
oh, co-living seems like a more risky thing because I got more people, but I
Yeah.
find it to be less risky because you've got 8 tenants. If one's not paying, you still got 7 tenants paying, for example. You're not going to have anybody steal the copper from the house when you're not looking. You're not going to have someone running a strip club in the house without you knowing, because there's other people there. They're going to tell you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Plus, you get access to that common area 24/7. You can walk in that front door, go to the kitchen, go to the living room whenever you want. take care of tasks because the space you're renting out are the individual bedrooms.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
I find that to be less risky. You're diversifying your risk with more tenants and with easier access to the property. Okay. So we got into that. From there, I've just grown over the last 4 or 5 years. I added operations to it. So I started up a property management company. As people saw what I was doing, they wanted to come in. Today, I manage over 430 rooms. 340 rooms, 43 properties. We've got another 100 plus rooms coming on board here shortly across all a dozen properties that we're onboarding for our clients or ourselves in the company.
That's awesome.
We've grown pretty big.
Yeah, it seems like you have, and you got some big plans. And a question I like to ask folks, and I really believe that there's always in somebody's life, like if they're getting into real estate, 90% of the time, at least, there's something that was a seed that was planted back when they grew up. Was there anybody in your family, neighbor, friend, uncle, aunt, whatever, anybody that was in real estate that planted that little seed? Because for some, you didn't just decide to go to Bigger Pockets. I mean, something had to tip you there. But was there anything in the grow up phase?
So grow up, it's just, I think it was less real estate, but more just my dad was always an entrepreneur. Like when he never worked for somebody else. He owned a heat treating company. You know what heat treating is? It's like, you ever see the movies where they're making swords? They'll take a piece of metal, heat it up real hot, and they'll cool it down. That's what he did on an industrial scale. And I worked there for him as a kid, taking things apart, moving things around. And then just after that, he owned a cleaning company, a couple other things. Eventually, he ended up buying a warehouse.
Okay.
Just through all of that, just, I took a part of initially getting a day job, work for somebody else, but always, hey, my dad can do this. I can do this. What can I do? What can I access? And I looked around, heard about Bigger Pockets, figured out real estate was the way to go and move forward.
Well, you did have a little bit of that seed. You said he bought a building, right? And he got into real estate. He bought real estate.
He did.
So,
well, I was a college, so it was less.
Right.
It was less day to day.
A little bit less. Okay, so then you were getting tired of the day job. You went to Bigger Pockets. You decided, hey, I'm going to buy a rental. What made you choose Houston?
So I was living in New York City when we chose Houston. And the reason why I was there was I got the degree in marketing, and where you go, you say to Chicago or New York. Lived there for 15 years, got married, bought a house with my in-laws. They provide the down payment. I provide the credit history. Marriage made heaven. After about a year and a half and 2 babies, you start getting antsy. And we're like, all right, we're going to move. If we're going to move, let's move big, right? And at the time, and even today, Houston is one of the top markets recommended for people getting into real estate. Good acquisition cost, decent rent to value ratio, so forth. So we looked around, we checked out Arizona, Florida, a couple places in Texas, ended up with Houston because a coworker of mine was like, hey, you should try Kingwood. It's off a little area of Houston. I grew up there and I turned out okay. So we took his thought and came down here. We looked at it, ended up liking the place, moved down here a couple of weeks later. So it's just, bunch of different data points coming together leading to that decision.
What were some of the initial challenges when you started to get into it, right? Like for me, when I originally started, one of the challenges was like the data and the marketing and all that piece. What was a challenge for you?
Yep. So I was a marketing data analyst in my prior life. And one thing I learned is that you can get absorbed in data. You can spend all day spinning your wheels in data.
Oh, yeah.
Some people think I got to have every little point. I got to have everything perfect. You can get to paralysis. I learned real quickly in my day job, no one cares about the teeny tiny details. The teeny tiny details don't affect the story down the line.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
So for me, I never hit analysis paralysis, because I understood enough data was needed to make a decision, and going any deeper than that didn't provide much value. So I came down and initially, I learned from everybody. Everyone said, 3-bed, 2-bath, standard. Try to hit, the ratios where you get 2-to-1 rent per revenue, or per cost. So we did it. We came down. We found a property where we could make more money than it was going to cost us every month, and we bought it. And that was the first property. After that, getting to co-living, very similar. I looked at several different homes. I ended up buying a home that was a bit more expensive than some of the others because the floor plan was perfect. And when I started looking at it, there's costs. There's your acquisition, then there's your rehab, and then there's your furnishings, and then you got to take into consideration your location. Sure, I could get a house cheaper, but there's more rehab, so there's longer to holding costs, longer periods there.
More potential for problems that are unseen.
Exactly. You could fall into, oh, I didn't realize there's an electrical issue here. They said they updated the wiring, but not in this half of the house.
Right.
So I ended up going with a slightly more expensive home that I could have the rehab done in a month. 'Cause all we had to do was turn a half bath into a full bath, rip some walls because it had just been rehabbed. And a lot of investors would be like, no, I want to get that absolute pile of dog crap so I can put my mark on it and get the maximum revenue. I just figured the first one I'm going to get into co-living. Let's keep it simple. Let's get it up and running fast.
Yeah.
I don't get held back. And that's what we did with that first one.
So how did you learn all this? I mean, did you have a mentor? Did you have a buddy that was doing it? I mean, how did you really, encompass the whole learning process for all this stuff?
So I'd call it, Bigger Pockets U. We ended up joining a couple of masterminds. They were doing, the Brandon Turner came out with a book, the little black,
Yeah, I know what you mean.
driving like your goals or whatever,
Yeah,
right?
right.
And that came with a mastermind. So I
Okay.
was paired with, several other investors, and we still talk to this day. We came together, we started having our discussions, we learned from each other, we pitched ideas back and forth, and that was great. That really helped give me some of the confidence. Couple that with that first one, that even though, it ended up going crazy, I figured I still made it even with these 3 or 4 things that went super wrong. How do you have a house turn into a strip club, right? But I still made it through.
Yeah.
We made that through. We found our way through. My wife and I worked that way through. So it was a lot of, some support systems, but also just, listen, I told my wife we're moving to Houston for investing and for a better life. I better figure a way out. So kind of had my wife scare me through all the
Yeah.
industry.
I kind of did the same thing. I moved from Phoenix to Nevada. I'm going like, hey, honey, pack up. We're moving. 2 weeks later, we were there. So, why co-living? Let's start talking about that a little bit, right? Because, that's something, once again, in our mastermind meetings, we've had more people talk about it. I've interviewed on other podcasts, a lot of people talking about it. Why co-living? Why is that becoming such a thing?
Yeah. So if you look at the market, what is the issue with the market today, right? High expenses, low cash flow. Right? Appreciation's, going stale. People aren't sure if we're going to see a price drop or not at this point. Like, we've been worrying about a crash now for, seems like 5 years, 6 years, 10 years, coming through. So co-living provides you with that cash flow that's lacking with a single family home. It allows you to take a single family home, the expenses of a single family home for acquisition, but hit multifamily returns, generally better than multifamily returns. what I've heard from some people is you should expect $100, $250 a door for a multifamily home. So what are you looking at? $1,000 in cash flow for a quadplex, maybe.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
But you also have 4 kitchens, 4 hot water tanks, a
Yeah.
larger roof, a bigger foundation for something like that. With co-living, I'm buying 3 to 5 bedroom homes and converting them to 8 to 14 bedroom homes.
Okay.
The biggest project we did, we turned a 5 bedroom home into a 14 bedroom for a client of ours. That was a 5,000 square foot house, had plenty of space.
I was say, how do
Um,
you turn a 5 bedroom into a 14 bedroom home? I mean, are you splitting every bedroom and the living room and all that stuff?
So with that one, we took a dining room, an office, a sitting room, and we turned them into bedrooms. We split 2 masters that were upstairs in half because they were very large, to get to that. And we turned, I think it was a game room area into a bedroom. Um, and in doing so, we just took, with co-living, there's different business cases. Okay. Some people go for the idea of developing community and having more common space, right? We're gonna put places here so people can come and hang out. What we found generally is that is less needed. People like the photos of having a nice little sitting room, but what generates you revenue is the number of bedrooms you have. And people don't like the sitting room enough to justify you losing $1,000 in revenue or a vacation every quarter, depending how you want to look at it, right? They don't use it. Typically, your tenants, and there's 4 or 5 different types of tenants. They'll come home, they'll make their meal, they'll take it to their room, they'll eat, they'll watch TV, they'll take a shower, they'll go back to the room, they'll go to bed, they'll wake up, they'll go to work, and they'll do it all again. They're not really hanging out with each other. Okay. It's not your frat house. Now, some operators are working to try to build community. They're trying to do game nights and pizza nights and everything. Which more power to you. We can certainly see, varying avenues for different models in the space. And that's how you define your business. How do you differ from the core, right? Some people do furnished bedrooms. Some people do unfurnished bedrooms. Some people are doing different levels of furnishings, right? We provide desks and chairs, Ethernet and TVs in every room with the beds and everything so that we can get ideally the work from home tenant or the Uber driver, more stable individuals that we tend to find, in the tenant base.
Are you, and I don't, it wasn't called co-living. It was but it was a rent by the room. I don't know what the other thing was, but I heard a lot of legislation or maybe rules because of, how many people are parked there and, all the extra trash and all this other stuff. I mean, are there any other rules/regulations that you have to kind of abide by or, might make it a turn off for somebody to invest in?
Yep. So you hit a couple of things, just like with an Airbnb, right? You got to take care of the exterior of the property. Make sure your lawns are cut. Make sure the trash is taken care of. Make sure your tenants are treating the property nice. Come by some spray paint or something on the door or whatever. Um, take care of the exterior of the property. Parking is always a big consideration when you're doing site design. So whenever you're going to select a property to do co-living, we in Houston, because we have public transportation, I'm looking at bus routes. We try to be within a 10-minute walk of the bus. That's going to put less pressure on the homeowner to have parking figured out. But then you have different, other park strategies because you want to have at least 60% of that home's bedroom count figured out as far as where people are going to park. Okay. So we have different strategies we apply. I've turned backyards into parking. So if we have a detached garage, the driveway goes past the back of the house, we'll gravel over the backyard. recently a client of mine bought a home that actually had two separate driveways, one to go into the back and one went into the front of where the garage was, because it sat on two lots. Guy bought two
Okay.
lots before, built the home, had both driveways there. So we will turn the whole backyard into, I think it holds like 12 cars in the back of this house. It's insane.
Wow.
In that house. I'm looking at buying old churches because they're going to have a perfect form factor, a nice rectangle. Already, you're going to have a kitchen, some bathrooms there, and I can turn the seminary, the refectory, into the pew area. I don't know the name of it. What's it called?
The sanctuary.
Yeah, that's it. I said something close. The sanctuary into bedrooms. It's already an open space, right?
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
can just imagine having like plate or stained glass windows in each room, having the different signs of the cross. It would be the bedroom name. That'd be crazy.
That would
But
that would be really cool.
but that's already gonna have parking figured out. You're gonna have a parking lot figured out because they already have people come through. So looking at that, quarter lots, the bottom of the U, in an area. If you have a community where houses are facing left and right, and your house is at the bottom of the U, you got that whole end of the cul-de-sac to park in.
Yeah. Very true. Okay.
So you take a look at the property, you try to figure out how you're gonna park. And if the house can't get parking, that's a major issue. We tend to move on.
Yeah.
But other issues, the biggest ones would be occupancy limits. If there's rules in your area, a lot of times HOAs will have them around that. You just gotta figure that into your decision.
I was going to ask with the HOA situation, are you ideally trying to find properties without an HOA?
So a lot of people are afraid of HOAs. And ideally, yeah, if you're new, it's the simplest thing to do. Just don't buy within an HOA. The very first one that I bought, that home I turned into an 8-bedroom, 3-bath. I bought that. Form factor was awesome. 5 bedrooms, all bedrooms up, detached garage. If you have 5 bedrooms, all bedrooms up, a detached garage, what is downstairs? A heck of a lot of space because you got all the bedrooms up, so you got a lot of space downstairs.
Yeah.
I got 3 more bedrooms, converted a half-bath to a full, but this property with a perfect form factor was in an HOA. So we looked at it. The HOA didn't care. It's a predominantly Hispanic neighborhood, so there are already cars parked everywhere. Ours does not stand out. There are already plenty of people living together because of the cultural fit. It's been awesome. It's been fantastic. We've never had a problem with the HOA there. A couple other areas, we have properties we manage in other HOAs, not a problem. But we have seen that go very badly, where some people were part of a sub 2 program, and the sub 2 buyer bought in HOAs, didn't really understand what he was doing, gutted properties, took a home that was worth $400,000, gutted it to be worth about $200,000, and then tried putting in 14 bedrooms. HOA caught wind of it, shut it down, and now this guy has a subject to property that he's taken from a value of 400 down to 200, and is thinking about walking away from the deal altogether, leaving the person that still has the mortgage in their name holding the bag. So you can see that go very wrong if you don't know what you're doing.
Right. So it really comes down to education and due diligence. It sounds like a lot for co-living properties. Before we get out of time here, man, we could talk about this for hours. I told you, we said it before, right? We're going to get to that point to where we're going to have to shut it down. If someone wants to talk to you more about co-living, they want to reach out and maybe do some deals together, or just gain some more knowledge, how do they connect with you?
So I launched a Facebook group, Co-Living Operations. You just look up Co-Living Operations. It's fantastic. I went from nobody to over 600 members in the last month. So just by talking and putting out value there across a couple of different groups, feel free to join me there. You can always email me, Dave@colivingoperations.com, spelled just how it sounds, Co-Living Operations, there. And I'm working to launch a nationwide offering where all my SOPs I've developed over the last 4 years are being trained to VAs that we're bringing on board. So if you're looking to get into co-living, you can just tap into those resources, the whole who, not how method, right? Why do you need to learn everything if I've already learned it and I'm educating people who can apply that knowledge for you, right?
Yeah.
So it's a do it with you service tied there. right? So feel free to reach out. The easiest way is the email, or better yet, the Facebook group. There'll be a school and some other things launching soon
Sweet.
to support that.
I love it, man. I love your journey. I love what you're doing. It sounds like you're very successful at it. Guys, if you learned and enjoyed this, reach out to him, man. I mean, learn more about co-living. It's been a hot topic, and I think a lot of people are going to really, get into it more. And this is a fantastic resource. Dave, thank you again.
Thank you for having me.
So, folks out there, I hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you on the next one. Cheers.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us for today's show. If you're looking to take your business and your life to the next level, you really need to learn more about the Investor Fuel Mastermind. It's your shortcut to success. To learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other amazing entrepreneurs, 100% financing on your deals, member-only discounts, and so much more, please visit investorfuel.com/Texas. By the way, Investor Fuel is even Texas-based. Also, if you're interested in applying to be a guest on this very show, the Texas Real Estate Pro Show, please visit investorfuel.com/Texas. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube or your favorite podcast app so you never miss another episode. We'll see you on the next show.